What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Detached Garage. We're doing the Garage Beers podcast today. Got my best friend, John Hayden, here.
First time on YouTube.
That's right. YouTube virgin, no more. So we're doing the Garage Beers podcast, where we talk to car and garage enthusiasts, we talk to entrepreneurs, we talk to expert contractors, and just all-around interesting people. John, maybe not an expert contractor, but meets all the rest of the topics and criteria. So, just a reminder, September 5th, we are doing the Detached Garage giveaway.
That looks nice.
Yes, we got t-shirts, we got hats, and we got a hoodie, too.
Wow.
Pretty nice. So, we'll post those contest entry rules up. And on September 5th, and once we hit 500 YouTube subscribers, we will be giving that stuff away. So,
hey, I like that.
Hey, tune back in for that. So, John.
Yeah, let's do
beer
this, man.
of choice. We've got some New Glarus Totally Naked, and we've got some Corona Premier because they did not have Corona Extra.
That's fine. Well, I tell you, I've been doing Corona as my summer beer this year, so I'm definitely going to start here.
Let's dig into that. I'll take one of those as well.
Thank you, sir.
So, first time on YouTube. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and you've been doing this channel. I've been watching every single video pretty much as soon as it comes out, and that's been great for me. And like so much stuff in our life. Ooh, maybe we should get a lime going.
Get the limes going for sure.
Get that out of there.
Yep.
Like so much stuff in our life, we always, track on similar paths, and I've gotten a little jealous.
Okay.
And so I've considered, maybe I should have my own YouTube channel at some point. So I'm definitely watching closely, and cheers, man.
So thinking about starting your own YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know we've talked a little bit about this in the past.
Yeah.
You've got your John is a process engineer and process engineer by trade, getting into a little bit of the marketing side of things as well, new product development, but you are very much a process engineer at heart.
Yeah, I went to school for mechanical engineering. I've done manufacturing engineering, but definitely as soon as I pretty much got put on to process engineering, I just loved it. I loved the different settings and tweaking different variables to see how I could change outcomes and really just tweak things, and sometimes you get results that really impress people. So you are a DIY guy and recently purchased a new house and have been working on that. Second
house number 2. And I know that in the yard, you've been, you got some oak trees around.
Yes.
So you and I have talked about this a little bit, but you're growing oak. Are they considered saplings yet in the basement?
Yeah. I think so. And to be honest, I still don't know why exactly I got into them. All I know is my brother's got a giant oak tree and it's sprawling limbs and everything. And that I always thought was a super cool tree. And then there's one down the street from me and it kind of comes across the road, and we were walking past there with my wife Savannah and daughter Audrey, and all these acorns were on the ground. I'm like, I'm gonna gather a bunch of those up and start planting them. And so that was last fall.
Okay.
And right now I have four of them in my yard. The 5th one, my brother gave me a little sapling. So I got 5 little oak trees growing in my yard, and I just thought it was super cool. And as I was reflecting on the whole thing, I was like, this would be great to run like a design of experiments, test a bunch of different variables.
Different fertilizers, different pH balance of the water.
Well, actually, and just as simple as like temperature. In my basement, it's like 50, 55 degrees in the winter, and I don't think that's the best temperature to be growing little saplings. So okay, we can heat them up. We can use different lights. I know you got your studio lighting here.
Yep.
But you can also get grow lights. I used like some cheap like $15 Menards light last year.
Okay.
So I think I could test a bunch of different variables and just make a little YouTube video series.
Nice.
Going through it. Personally, the YouTube videos I like watching are the fail ones are just as good as the ones where they teach you what's good, right?
Yep.
Like, hey, I tried this, it didn't work. Hey, I tried this, it worked real great. So, I just think that'd be interesting content, and it's kind of lighthearted. Some of the other things you get into in life are so serious. Whether it's trying to raise a kid or be healthy or have a good career, and I'm like, this is just some little easygoing. Just kind of
grow some saplings.
Big deal. Yeah,
that's right.
So
and get the enjoyment and the enthusiasm from your personality your interest of process engineering to tweak the variables a little bit.
That's right. And that's what I've enjoyed about your channel, by the way, is you're taking what you're really good at and applying it to building a garage, which yeah, you can apply your skill set all the different places, and yeah, so it's interesting to watch.
And I like that. That's one of the things that I really like about YouTube is it gives your passion an opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, totally.
So John and I have been talking about it. So interested to hear what you guys think. If John were to start a YouTube channel,
yes,
throw it down in the comments below what you think a good title for his channel should be.
I'd appreciate that. I appreciate all the help you can give me.
So throw it down in the comments. We've talked through a few. Johnny Oaks.
That's definitely the top runner. But I did start a Twitter.
Okay.
For completely different reasons.
Nice.
And I pulled out Johnny Oaks, and I got Johnny Oaks 2. And I'm like, oh man, there's already another Johnny Oaks out there. So I don't know. Maybe I do need another name. So throw it down. Tell me what I should do.
Nice. That would that's tough. That's actually one of the things that I tried to do when I was thinking of a name for this YouTube channel was to go across all the social media platforms and try and find something that had the same spelling.
Yeah.
So that, whether it's searchability between all the different YouTube platforms. The only one I didn't get was Twitter, and I had to have a underscore in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important for searchability and, getting between different platforms and keeping that consistency.
And when you're a complete newbie like me, it's not something you think about right off the bat. I just happened to do the Twitter thing. And we ran into that with Titanium Dynamics.
That's right.
When email addresses and websites and different accounts and stuff. And it's like, I remember we had to cut the S off of, what was it, Instagram maybe?
Yes. Titanium Dynamic.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's an important thing to think about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to have that same thing across all...
Yes.
The branding. Keep the branding the same, right?
I learned that. I was listening to the Smoking Tire podcast with Matt Farah, and
they're a little successful.
Yeah, a little bit, and that was, I think somebody asked a question on there about, what should I do if I'm starting a channel and thinking of a name and thinking of branding and stuff like that, and that was one of the tips he gave was, I forget what he was going to actually name the channel instead of the Smoking Tire, but the Smoking Tire was available across all platforms, so that's one of the. He was between a few of them, and I think that's one of the main reasons why he went with that one. So,
did I tell you about my foot in the mouth at the road rally with that?
You did not.
Oh yeah, so so they got those Mustang guys, and they got their YouTube channel.
Tires and Smoke.
Tires and Smoke.
Yes.
And so I was talking to them. I'm like, oh yeah, aren't you guys like the Smoking Tire or something? And he's like, no, that's not us. That's somebody much more successful.
I don't think that's probably the first time.
Yeah, probably not. But I was like, oh, sorry, man.
But they are successful. I think they're up to something like 5,000 subscribers or something like that.
I really like those guys. So we've seen them, what, three times? 3 years now at the road. I really like those guys. They're easygoing, free loving, and two or three brothers. Two brothers. Both have Mustangs. Yeah. And unfortunately they had a lot of low oil pressure this year in the River Valley Road Rally. So the Mustang problems continue. But if this was like a reality TV show, I feel like they would always bring the drama. They would
bring the funny. I don't know about the drama.
Yeah. But they get tickets. They blow up their engines.
True.
They're doing burnouts.
Yeah. It would. They would definitely.
They're very cinematic.
Yes, they are, and they do have a good YouTube channel. So if you're watching this and you want something fun, lighthearted to watch, go watch. Tires and Smoke, not the Smoking Tire, but go watch the Smoking Tire as well.
Also good.
Yeah. But speaking of Titanium Dynamics, for those of you who don't know, John and I started a company in 2014, Titanium Dynamics. Yeah. And it was all around, we got a little intoxicated at your in-laws' house, and
that's right.
We were sitting around the kitchen table, and I was looking for a titanium exhaust for my Subaru.
And where were you in your MBA process right then?
Were you in
the middle?
No, I had graduated already.
Oh, had you? Okay.
I had graduated already.
Then you were pretty fresh then.
Yes.
Because I remember as soon as the idea was out there, like, we gotta make a business plan, we gotta get numbers, we gotta write this stuff down, we gotta figure out if it's actionable.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's the business analysis side of me. But it was 2014, and we were just kind of sitting around the table, and I didn't have my Subaru at the time, but I knew that when I was looking for an aftermarket exhaust for my Subaru, I wanted titanium because we live in Wisconsin with the rust. Titanium is very corrosion resistant, but every single one I looked
it's lightweight.
at, it's lightweight. Every single one I looked at had those pie cuts.
Yep.
Pie cuts. And I know people like the look. It looks really cool when you do all that welding, but that's a lot of argon, and that is a lot of labor getting those pie cuts together. It is just ridiculous. So,
well, and you're not going to make it look that good if you do it in your garage.
Yeah.
And then, and at the time, especially if you paid somebody to do it, it was 5 times more expensive. I mean, you could probably get a cat back at the time, what, $500? Maybe for a Subaru, and then it was probably what, $2,500.
Yes.
For a bolt-on, titanium exhaust, and it was like,
yeah, it was very expensive. Not that, when we were going through and doing the business side of things, purchasing the raw material of titanium versus stainless steel, it's, depending on what quality you're getting and where you're getting it from, it's, not quite double the price, but it's pretty close to just double the raw material price. So
it was even hard to source it though too.
Yes,
at the time.
Yes, it was. Not a lot of people were doing it. So we started the business in 2014, and our whole goal was to try and allow somebody to weld a titanium exhaust in their garage, and we were going to be the first company to provide mandrel bends.
Yeah.
So,
so the whole idea was, instead of doing the pie sections, you just get the mandrel bends, just like you might with stainless steel, right? At the time you could do that with stainless steel.
Yep.
Then you could piece it together, and you would have a decent looking titanium exhaust you could do yourself.
That's right. You could buy, I need 3 90s, 2 straight sections, and 2 mufflers, or whatever you wanted. So that was our idea. We kicked it off. The whole goal was to do it debt-free.
Yep.
I think that was one of the major differences of our business.
I was going through the Dave Ramsey stuff at the time. So
yep, that was as well.
Yeah, so that was definitely a big thing on my mind. I still think I'd make the same decision.
Absolutely.
But I just remember being very adamant about debt-free.
Yes.
Because I was at the time trying to become debt-free myself.
Yep.
Well, I guess me and Savannah.
Yep. So yeah, we ran the business for a while. We would both contribute a monthly contribution and a few major lump sums to try and get material ordered and whatnot, and worked with a local bender, and eventually grew the business.
I think the one important thing was you had that contact in China that you had met through other business dealings.
That's right.
And man, without him, I don't know what we would have done.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so helpful. I remember that you had taken a business trip for your normal job. You took a week of vacation.
Yep.
Then later, I did the same thing. I was over in China for some engineering stuff. I took a week of vacation. We both spent time with him. We developed our, some suppliers in
developed
China.
the supply base, and yeah.
Yeah, I remember we had to cut out quite a few suppliers in China.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
But and that there were so many parts of the business that were so enlightening to me. But especially the China part. I think as Americans sometimes we say, well, it's from China, it's probably low quality.
Right.
But I mean, there's 1.3, 1.4 billion people out there, and all the businesses. Like, you can get anywhere from somebody that nobody's doing it in his garage, all the way up to world-class manufacturing in China.
Right.
And
it's all about the requirements and the expectations you set on the front end, because, like you said, we did have to get rid of some suppliers, but it was, hey, this is the quality we need for it to succeed, and we're willing to pay more for that quality.
Totally.
But yeah, our China contact was very, very good about helping us set things up. And the interesting part about China to me is how entrepreneurial and how capitalistic the culture is there, even though it is a communist country. Has started his business now and runs a business, and I think a lot of people, that's their vision, that's their strive. They're always trying to better themselves. Is that Chinese culture, and our China contact has definitely done that.
One of the hardest working guys I ever met personally. I mean, when we met him, he had a day job.
Yep.
He was doing our side hustle. Yep. His wife had a side hustle.
Yep.
I mean,
they owned, you can't really own property in China, but they had the rights to a building that they were leasing to somebody else, and so it was. He
was a super hardworking guy.
Yeah, still is. So if you're listening to this, you need a China contact. Let me know. We can hook you up. The tariffs might screw that up a little bit, but either way, let me know. Throw something in the comments or send me an email if you're looking for that. But yeah, the whole business ride of sourcing material in China, getting it bent in the U.S., creating that product line, creating the website,
pictures,
just starting a business from scratch. It was a huge learning experience, and we didn't explode, but we were successful, and we sold the business. And
and you did pretty much all the social media marketing there.
Yep.
And I think that was interesting for me to watch as a business partner, as a best friend, because you didn't have any social media experience really before that.
Nope, I was figuring it all out.
And I mean, really, that's where all of our customers came from, right?
Yep.
And that was just super interesting to watch. I know you ran a couple specials.
Yep.
We had the Pi Day.
Pi Day.
I think Pi Day was one of our best ones. We kept.
Yep.
Which is actually funny because we started the whole business to not do pie sections.
But
still, we use that as a marketing tool.
Yep.
And it worked out really good.
Yeah.
What was a couple other good ones? We had the 50% off.
Yep.
One.
Yes. A few repost ones. So yeah, it was interesting. We had a few giveaways.
Yeah.
Where we would cover 50% of the costs and whatnot. So but we ended up selling the business to an awesome guy out in Philadelphia area.
Yeah, I liked his whole business setup.
Yes, so he already had a performance shop out there, and when we decided that we didn't want to do fulfillment anymore.
Oh, that was a big learning.
So if you guys follow my social media story on Detached Garage, you can see I travel quite a bit for work.
Yeah.
John doesn't travel quite as much as me, but he travels as well. And we hated getting an email. We were both traveling, and it's like, crap, how the heck are we going to ship this next day?
Yeah. You live in an Amazon world, and people have expectations.
Right.
And they don't realize that we're just, it's out in my garage, and we're trying to do this ourselves. They just want their stuff, and that's understandable.
Absolutely.
And we didn't have kids at the time.
Right. We had
no kids, so you were more flexible. And then we started going through that process.
Yep.
In there somewhere, and that just makes it harder and harder, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm almost done with a beer already. How many beers am I limited to on the podcast?
Well, this is all we have in the house right now. I think we got a White Claw upstairs if you really want to get adventurous. There's plenty of bourbon upstairs too. So, so we sold it to a guy out in Philadelphia in 2018, right? I think we were 2018 we sold the business. So just awesome trip. Man, that also taught me a lot, just the whole selling the business process, going back and forth with the lawyers, trying to get everything worked out. And super, super awesome guy. But obviously, when you're selling a business... It's
a business transaction.
Yeah, it's a business transaction. And we were on the same page, but our lawyers were more fighting about what was right and what was wrong. So... you know what? Eventually, we just got everybody on the phone and worked through it, and we're kind of just like, listen, we're going to make this deal happen. You guys figure it out. I don't want to pay you an hourly rate anymore.
Yeah, right.
Just, I want to stop spending money on the lawyers. So here's the purchase price. Let's do this. So we loaded up a U-Haul.
I mean, you always wondered that about lawyers, right? Like,
yeah.
The two lawyers that are talking, it's mutually beneficial for them to keep talking, right?
Right.
Not necessarily to wrap the deal up.
Right. So
I always wonder
a little bit of frustration there. So we loaded up a U-Haul, all the inventory, itemized everything, counted everything, got everything good to go, drove it all the way out to Pennsylvania area.
It was a fun drive.
It was a fun drive. Went out and partied in Pennsylvania, or Philly.
Yeah,
Philly, got a few Philly cheesesteaks. So,
2 or 3?
I think we got 3 Philly cheesesteaks.
And those first 2.
The first 2 were the touristy scenic ones.
Yes. It was that one intersection.
Yes.
They were kind of like wedge shaped.
Yep.
Philly cheese stand shop.
If there's anybody from Philly watching this, Delisandro's was the one we went to outside of the city, kind of in the suburbs a little bit more, but man, that was fantastic.
And you could just tell by the traffic too. I mean, it was lunchtime. Was that a Friday we were out there, or was that Saturday?
I feel like it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday because we drove out on Friday.
Yeah, man, they were just doing business, and it was this tiny little place, and people were just lined up almost out the door.
Yeah, they were yelling orders across the top at each other and everything.
They had a mound of beef. Like, if this is like the cooking surface, they had a mound of beef like this big, and I was just
ready to go.
Like, how many sandwiches do you make?
Yes. it was impressive.
Yeah,
it was very impressive. So sold the business, got a one-way flight back. So and the rest is history.
That was a super fun experience, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Building the business, selling the business, the whole thing taught me a lot.
It was good. It was very good.
Makes me want to do it again. Different business.
Right.
Makes me want to do it again though someday.
Yes, agreed. And I couldn't stay complacent for long, so I started this detached garage thing, and someday maybe this will turn into my full-time gig. Right now it's just on the side and enjoying, sharing my passion for garages and cars and everything with you guys, and hopefully this brings some value to you, or if you're thinking about starting a business, reach out to me. I'd love to share some tips and tricks with you. So
I'm having a great time with it. I can put my YouTube, right up to my TV screen in my house. So when you come out, if no one's watching TV, I throw you right on the big TV, so my whole family gets to watch you. I took that selfie. I sent it to you.
I know. I saw that the other day.
That's 55 inches of Sean right there. Woo!
Yes. So, question for you. I got a few questions written down. I want to get into those.
Yes. I got questions too.
So, if money was no object, what kind of garage would you build? If you had unlimited money, unlimited land, you're not constrained to your current situation, what kind of garage would you build?
This is interesting. Well, I do like, you're thinking about going solar. I would like to create my own power someday.
Okay.
I've always thought like a mini hydro would be cool.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be feasible in Wisconsin, but if this is, we can do anything. You think it's like a nice stream coming down in Colorado, and I know there's at least one good YouTube channel I've seen on that. And, it's kind of like a multi-year project, but, you can like dam something, upriver, and then just bring a big giant tube of water into there, and, have your generation and all your power management there, and then, let it out somewhere else. So that'd be cool.
As I'm finding out, though, the municipality, the DNR would, it really depends. I'd be interested if you could get something like that through, damming up a stream or something like that in Wisconsin. Seems like it would be really hard.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin, there's not enough streams, but I think if you're in a mountainous area, I think there are so many, it wouldn't nearly be as bad. The YouTube video I watched, the guy had hundreds of thousands of views on there, so I gotta think if the municipalities had a problem with it, they would have seen it by now.
Yeah. Because I was looking into alternative methods of storage for energy. So and a lot of people are, it's either when the sun's out, you use solar to pump a lot of water uphill into a storage area, and then at night and then hopefully you have an overabundance of solar, so then you're also powering your house as well, and then at night when the sun goes down, you're bringing that water, and you have that, it's like a lake battery, and bringing it through the hydro system, and then powering the house at night. So then there's one they were talking about, like an old clock with using gravity as and lifting a weight during the day, and bringing it down at night to keep the power going. So
I love mechanical systems like that, and I've always thought of them like in a theoretical type of idea, but I've never seen anybody's in real life. I'd love to. So if I was going to have a dream garage, that'd be part of it.
Okay.
And I would definitely want some aspect of it to be my design somehow.
Okay.
You can buy a lot of these things, whether it's wind or solar, battery power, the Tesla Powerwall. You can buy a lot and plug it in. I at least want some of it to be mine, uniquely mine somehow. I don't know exactly how that would be or what that would look like, but I want it to be mine. And
when you say yours, from the design of the power system. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about the garage itself?
Yeah. So my dad owns a Quick Lube, right?
Okay.
And so if if I'm thinking garage and I'm thinking specifically cars.
Yep.
Because when you say garage, I think of like big building. I can do anything I want in the building. That's kind of where my mind goes.
If money is no object, that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think a big building that's like I do everything I want for fun in there.
Yep.
But for cars specifically, Dad owns a Quick Lube, and everybody does the lift thing. I think if money was no object, I think I would have a lift and a pit. At a Quick Lube, you just drive over it, you walk down, you go underneath it, you do whatever you want.
Yep.
And it's so quick, you don't have to worry about putting the the lift underneath and get on the frame.
Getting it located right.
Yeah, you just drive over it and you've seen me do this before. I just drive over a pit. I know how to drive over one without anybody guiding me in and stuff. And I think it's usable and it's a bit nostalgic for me too.
Yes.
Because Dad won't have the quick lube forever, and so maybe in 20 years, it'd be cool, if I had one and I could still feel like I was at the quick lube I grew up in. That's right. And so that I think that'd be part of it. A little bit of a unique part of the garage.
Yep.
I'm sure you want me to start listing out, of course you need a compressor and good lighting, that type of things. But yeah, some of the unique stuff definitely.
Any other specialty things you would want? So you had that white Supra.
Yep.
That turned to blue.
Yep.
So
I don't think I want to paint a car myself.
No? Would you want?
Especially if you say that money's no object, I don't think I'm going to paint a car myself again. I enjoyed it. It taught me a lot. It really did.
Yeah.
Just like our business. Yeah. But unlike our business, I would do another business. I don't think I'd paint another car.
Okay.
I like things, mechanical things. I like working on mechanical things that are usually reversible. So if you bolt something together, you can unbolt it and redo it.
Yes.
When you paint stuff, it's just like, I feel like you could only go one direction. I'm sure Mikers would argue and say, I just sand it down and do it over.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think I'd paint another car. So I don't think I'd do a paint booth.
Okay.
Great. I really appreciate guys who are good at painting cars.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's for me.
Okay. What about, so you got the pit, obviously do a lift, like you said.
Gotta have a lift too. Yeah, you're limited with a pit, especially like suspension work is harder.
Right.
But,
and like getting jack points and to get it up off the ground with this giant hole in the ground is difficult.
The pit's nicer for the quicker things.
Yeah, when we're going down to Highway 100, we need to rip the exhaust off the car and go down.
I told my dad about that for the first time. I've never told my dad that story.
So, for those of you who listened to my last Garage Beers podcast, episode number 1, Mike and I met with John on Highway 100. Mm-hmm. We were all there. The street racing scene back in the day. And, so we would go to the Quick Lube and get in the pit, pull the backside of the garage off and backside of the exhaust off and basically run an open down pipe.
Well, I mean, you think of high schooler logic, right?
Right.
And okay, so I'm an old turbo car,
right?
And I need to reduce the back pressure on the turbo to get it to spool up faster and go faster.
Yep.
It was a stock exhaust, so I wanted to make it louder.
Yep.
And so, I mean, 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Just take half the exhaust off.
Right.
Reduce the restriction, make it louder.
Lightweight.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
take the spare tire out.
Everything we could. Yeah, I still lost plenty, but that was really helpful.
Then I sat in the passenger seat for that weight reduction.
You were pretty thin back in high school, right?
I was a little thinner than
I am today. You were.
So, but that was that. Like you said, the pit is good for quick changes.
Yes.
Slide that grate up, just go to town and get it done.
That is a good question. Would I do the grate if it was my garage?
Ooh.
It's a safety feature, and at the Quick Lube you got to have it because you got customers, you got who knows who's walking around, and they can't fall in the pit, right?
Right.
But if it was my own garage, I'd probably still do it. I'm gonna have kids.
You don't want your kid falling down.
There's liabilities. So I guess I would still do the grate.
Yeah.
And
What other specialty items would you put in the garage? You got the air compressor, you got the lift, you got the pit.
I think it would be part machine shop as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I as a mechanical engineer, being able to jump on a lathe, jump on a mill, that when I'm designing a product, I think along those terms.
Right.
3D printer now too, all those type of stuff.
Yeah.
I would want one of each.
Okay.
Because that's just when I'm thinking of how I'm going to design a part. That I'm thinking along those terms, and then I could just go do it myself.
And we're back. We were in the middle of discussing what specialty tools and equipment John would have in the garage, whether it's a lathe, mill, 3D printer, and we were talking laser or plasma cutter.
Yes.
So,
I think
thicker gauge stuff.
I think I'm going to skip it. No particular reason. I just don't. If I'm doing my own project, I guess I just don't feel that passionate about running a laser.
Okay.
Cutting stuff on a laser.
Yeah.
I think they do a real nice job, and they have their place. If I'm doing my own project, I don't think I'm going to use one. How about that?
Understandable.
But I was thinking, would I go all battery powered tools or air powered tools?
Okay.
And I think typically I like air powered tools.
Yeah.
And they're less efficient. If you just think like air guns, air drivers,
Yep.
hammer tools.
Yep.
I don't know. I like air powered things, and I think that's a little bit nostalgic too.
It is. It is.
I mean, battery ones are easier, right? I mean, cordless.
They're cordless. You don't have to oil them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them you have to oil, but like the vast majority of air power tools, you got to put oil in them to make sure that the lubrication and stuff, and you have to also have a good quality air system with
totally.
like a line dryer and all that and stuff. But
you just think of like the car scene, the race scene. It's like air tools are part of that. I mean, you think of like the NASCAR guys.
Yeah, Formula One, the peak of technology in tenths of a second matter, where I think the Red Bull team set the fastest pit stop either last race or 2 races ago, 1.8 seconds for all 4 wheels off, all 4 wheels on, and they're still using air tools.
Yeah.
So
and they just have one. They just got one big one.
It's a center lug nut, but I mean, still, you're like if electric tools could make the difference,
they would use it, right?
Second, they would use it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Obviously, you're not practicing, getting the lug nut off, and somebody else is swinging the tire on or anything like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It is nostalgic as well.
Totally. That sound, the feel of the tools. The whole thing.
Yep. So speaking of nostalgia, and if money was no object, and maybe even if money is a constraint for you, would you ever go back and try to get your Supras back that you've had? Because you've had 3.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, the white/blue one was definitely the most special spot in my heart. I don't think so though. I think I would start fresh. I'd try to start new.
Okay.
Especially because
it doesn't have to be that VIN.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Especially because I know that Supra, and I know I did that on a college budget.
Right.
And I did everything. I just wanted to get the car up and running and drive it. And I drove it for over 50,000 miles.
Yep.
Which is, quick aside, that's my favorite metric for anybody who does a swap or a project.
Okay.
I like to say, I don't want to know how fast it is. I don't want to know how much money you spent, years. How many miles did you put on that car after you finished the swap? Because I think it's really important, just to know how much enjoyment you get out of it after you're done with it. But anyways, so that's just my personal favorite metric. But I know that I did that car on a college budget. I remember going in the exhaust heap, a trash heap of that diesel shop that you and I.
Yeah, we went to a scrapyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the exhaust pipe because I didn't have money for the exhaust. I remember the tachometer didn't work in it, and instead of I could have ordered the right tachometer, but instead I went around all the scrap salvage yards, and I had to get the right chip number. I found it online. There was like a certain range of chips that would work. I had to desolder it and put solder that chip in my tack, and I did a bunch of stuff like that. Again, the body work.
The turbo is an eBay turbo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I got lucky, maybe not. I think I bought $120, $130 on eBay.
Right.
I ran that thing hard.
Yes.
I probably didn't spec it quite. I probably spec'd it a little bit big.
Okay.
Because the thing didn't spool up. It spooled up a little bit late. It was like
it was so we haven't talked about it.
Oh,
but
sorry.
It was a 250,000 mile shell when you got it.
Yep.
Right. Non-turbo, and you did a 1JZ swap.
Yeah, so when I bought it, I bought the car or the shell, and I bought the engine separately. I'm sure no one knows, but not many people know, but the 1JZ wasn't available in the U.S. And so because of the laws in Japan, they can only drive their cars for so long. So then they ship over their high-performance engines, and people like me and hobbyists, they'll swap them into their cars. So I did the whole swap.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was a 1JZ. The famous engine is the 2JZ, right? That was in the later Supra.
So 1JZ is 2.5 liters, 2JZ is 3 liters.
Right.
Yep.
And so they only had the 2JZ, or the 1JZ was only available for a handful of years before the 2JZ came out in '93.
Yep.
So yeah, did the swap. But the turbos always failed.
Right.
They started blowing out smoke.
It was twins as well.
Yeah. Little ceramic twin turbos in there.
Yep.
And man, the thing was a lot of fun. But yeah, blew those turbos up quick, and then Well, then you say, okay, do I do stock again,
Right.
or do I just swap everything out? So pretty promptly swapped out to a big single turbo, and probably went a little too big. I think that was one lesson I learned, and I saw some advice before where it's like, pick how much horsepower you want to get to eventually.
Right.
Do you want to eventually be at 400, 600, 800, whatever it is,
right?
And start with that in mind, because what I did is I jumped too far high in the turbo. But I didn't really have a plan to get there.
Right.
It was about a 500 horsepower turbo.
Right.
And I wasn't going to do the standalone ECU that it was required to get there.
Right.
So I was going to run it like 350, which is what you could do on with a piggyback. And so I kind of mismatched my mods there. But you know what? Lasted 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
Had a real good time driving it around.
Real good time with that external wastegate.
Yeah. It dumped right underneath the passenger seat.
Yes, it sounded so good from the passenger seat. It was just awesome.
It was great. If you drove it for more like an hour, the floor would kind of get a little bit warm.
Yes. Yes, it
there was
would.
no heat shielding down there. Yeah,
Yes, it
was kind of black underneath from all the exhaust. But when I test drove it, or when I was going to sell it, and the guy wanted to have a test drive. I said, "Oh, you want to drive it, or you want me to drive?" He's like, "Well, why did you start?"
Yeah.
And so I'm driving it around and get on the highway, get off the highway. We're hitting it, wide open throttle. And the guys, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe he hadn't been like a really fast car before. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I did a couple wide open throttle pulls, and I was like, "Oh, so you want to take it for a test drive?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Do you want the car?" He was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay." We didn't. Yeah. He didn't try to negotiate.
Yep.
Well, actually, that part I think I would credit to you, because I was gonna sell the car for about half.
Yeah.
Because when I bought the car, it was they weren't going for that much.
No.
And then after
they hit the bottom. Like, you bought at the bottom when they hit, and then 80s cars started getting more.
Yeah. They were really out of favor when I bought them.
Yes. And now they started getting more popular, and yeah.
But you did something really important for me, is you put it up on a specialty Wisconsin car area to sell like kind of special cars. I was just going to do Craigslist.
Yeah.
And you might not necessarily get the right buyers there.
Right. Target market.
But you put it up on Facebook, and then I got all these comments of how great of a car it was, how many people wanted to buy it, how much people were offering for it.
Yeah.
And what's nice about that is you can see the competition then. So then when I'm having that that exchange with the potential buyer, I don't have to convince him that other people want to buy my car. He can see it himself.
Just look at the list.
Just look at this one. I got 37 other people who are interested in buying the car. You want to negotiate, I'll just tell you no, sell to somebody else. And you can see that other people are willing to buy it for that much.
Yeah. And I even think, because I know you were trying to sell it quickly.
Yep.
With the house thing and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I knew, like, okay, here's the price I think you could get for it, but here's where I think you should list it if you want to get it sold quick. So
yeah, I think you would definitely probably at least doubled my money on what I was going to sell it for. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little market research, a little post in the right spot, and we'll.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cheers to making me money, man.
Cheers to
Appreciate
that.
It.
So, so you're saying if money was no object, you would not try to go get that specific VIN of car.
Yep.
Would you buy another 80s Supra though?
You know what? I love that profile. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I love that two-door kind of sweeping profile on the back with the big hood in front.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually looking at it, I think I would get either an older 240 like a 1970s or a 1970s 280, 240, 280s.
Okay.
I've seen some of the really nice builds. Some guys have done. I'm like, that's a pretty sweet looking car.
Yep. Yeah. Even though it's not a Supra though, because I know you're a Toyota guy.
I am a Toyota guy, and that was really it's just that profile. Like, I like the 940.
The longer hood, short overhang, hatchback style. Yeah.
I like the 940 Porsches.
944.
944, 928 Porsches. I think 944s have the wider body, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like those. I like the older 240s, 280s.
Yep.
Just all sorts of different cars. There's some really nice Jaguars with that profile.
Yep.
So Type S or Type X or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like all different types of cars.
So
with
you
that
would
profile.
go in your collection, if you had money was no object, you would have some sort of car with that profile, or multiple.
Yeah, it could be multiple. I think definitely if money was no object, Dad raised me to be a fan of the old Mustangs.
Okay. Yep.
He loves the 1966 Mustangs.
Yes.
And that's what he had. I think I like the 1969. The Boss.
Yep.
Which is really iconic.
Yep.
And I actually think I like that a little bit more than the Eleanor on Gone in 60
Yes.
Seconds.
Yes.
Actually, I think I like the Boss a little bit more.
Okay.
So, so I definitely have an old Mustang.
Okay.
Just because Dad raised me to love them.
Yep.
And,
now, would you keep it original? Would you go carbureted? Would you go, or would you put a Coyote motor or Voodoo motor?
No, it's got to smell. It's got to smell like a muscle car.
Got to smell.
You know
like a
that
muscle
smell,
car.
right?
Yes.
I mean, now when I see any muscle car driving down the road,
Yep.
I roll that window down to hear it and to smell it, just because you can't beat it.
It's part of the emotion.
Oh yeah.
Of driving it.
Oh yeah.
It's not just the look, the sound. You got to have that other sense of that emotion that goes with it.
Especially a nice loud one, you kind of feel it in your chest a little bit.
Absolutely.
You hear it take off, and it's like logically, I'm like, that's I'm smelling these fumes, probably like a carcinogen. I don't know.
Yeah, that's unburned gasoline.
Yeah. For a moment, I'm gonna really enjoy this, and that's how I feel about it.
So, with that being said, what other cars would you have? That's a broad question. Let me focus it a little bit.
Thank you.
What other exotics? What exotics would you have? Not other exotics, but what exotics would you have?
You and Mikers talked about. Can I call them Mikers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys mention Mikers?
Dr. Mike Merck.
Yeah, sorry.
Mikers.
I don't know. I started calling him Mikers for who knows what reason back in the day, and that's still who he is in my mind.
Yep.
And he started calling me Johners, and no one else calls me Johners, so maybe there's like more.
And we're all the hatchback hookers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very small niche group. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you guys mentioned the F40.
Yep.
And that's just a beautiful car.
Yes.
So I think that might be in there.
Yep.
I don't know. I would want an exotic.
Yep.
Well, when you say exotic, I think of like brand new, like super expensive exotic.
Yeah. And
it's not quite so exotic, but the super wide body like Porsches.
Okay.
Would definitely be on there. The ones that had the 3.6 liter in them. For was it the 991 maybe?
No, I think that was like the turbo.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would have been 991's 3.8 liter turbo.
Oh, okay,
so you'd have been 996 or 997 is I think 3.6 liter. I can't remember. If you're a Porsche enthusiast, let us know where we're wrong below. You guys are really good at doing that.
Yeah, help me out. I need the help.
Yep.
But definitely the wide body with the big wing on there.
Yep.
Because typically I'm not that type of guy.
Yep.
Like I like imports and stuff, but usually I won't put a big wing on there.
Mm-hmm.
I won't I won't do that type of stuff. But Porsches, I feel like, are the car that needs a big wing.
Okay.
And so that's actually one of the reasons I want a Porsche, is so I can have a big nice wing. I love some of their they also do really really bright colors.
Yes.
Really exotic paint jobs.
Yep.
I'm typically not a really crazy paint job type of guy, but I think with a Porsche that fits just so well. So
it does.
I think I want one of those.
Well. Nice.
Oh, we got to get to some of my questions here.
Sure.
You're asking me all the questions.
I only asked you 2 of the 4 that I had. So,
I did want to bring up a quick topic. So
yes.
I was just out fishing with dad, brother, uncles, cousins.
Okay.
And my nephews came for the first time. So
yes.
An 8-year-old and a 12-year-old out there on the boat. And so we're out fishing, and just as fishing is, sometimes you're killing it, sometimes there's not much fish there's not much fish happening.
Yeah, it's more casting than fishing.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of trolling up in Canada too. So you just kind of put it out there and you drive the boat real slow.
Yep.
Yeah, so we do some casting, we do some trolling.
Yep.
But so we were out there one day, and it was just so slow of fishing, and the boys were getting all anxious. They're poking each other. There you go. They're poking each other. They're calling each other names. They're doing all stuff over the boat. Our brother can't handle it. So I don't know why, but I started telling stories, and I thought, well, I can tell stories about my best friend and I,
right?
Sean and John.
Yep.
And I thought, well, I'll just mix up the names. So I started calling it Sohan and Jean. So I mixed up the first letters of our name. I just started telling stories, and I didn't know if they were going to be into it, but we caught a fish. So I was telling stories. We caught a fish, and before the fish was like even back in the water, the 2 boys were like, more Sohan and Jean stories, and so I'm like, okay.
So if you can't get it. Sohan, Jean.
No. You were Jean. You were Jean.
Jean, Sohan.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the first day I told college stories.
Okay.
The second day I told high school stories.
All right.
And I couldn't believe how much they loved it. I mean, they couldn't get enough of it. But it was good for me. You forget how many stories you have. And I was telling non-drinking stories.
Right.
This is all sober stories.
So you open up the drinking stories, and there are a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. But I just kept it to only non-drinking stories, and we had a lot of them. I did tell the one about taking the exhaust off and going on the Highway 100. Yep. But I didn't use Highway 100. I used I was trying to have fun with the names. So it was the land of 100 highways.
Okay.
So yeah. So Han and Gene would go have fun at
the land of 100 highways.
The land of 100 highways.
Yes.
And we had a good time with that. But it made you just think of all other stories.
Yep.
To think about. I don't know how much we talked about this one, but it made me think of when I bought my first Supra. I bought it from
the original in high school.
Yeah, the non-turbo first Supra I ever bought. I bought it in
7MGE.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
200 horsepower, 3,800 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a fast car, but it was manual.
And
it was a car I wanted.
That car sold for like $50,000 back in the day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think maybe closer to 40, but it was an expensive car at the time for sure. But again, it was the profile I liked and had the feel I liked. Yep. But I did not take the car out well when I bought the car. Yep. And so when I drove it home, there was a little leak in the clutch line, and I'm sure the guys knew that they sold me this car.
Yes.
They just dumped a bunch of extra, brake fluid in the clutch cylinder, and just let me go away. So after an hour and a half drive home, I was all excited, and I wanted to go show Amy, my girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
And so, I think I showed Mom for like a minute, right? And then I wanted to go show the girlfriend. Yep. And so I drove it over there, and her driveway was on a little bit of an angle, thanks. Yep. And so I was showing her, and okay, it was time to go. And I pushed the clutch in, and try to like start the car, and like this weird kind of jerk thing happens, and I stop real quick, and then I think I panicked somehow, and the car was like rolling backwards across the street. Yes. And I got out, I don't know why, and then she was gonna get in the back and stop it, and I stopped her from doing that because that's a lot of weight going across the street, right? So anyways, the car ended up in the other side of the ditch, kind of like in, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And so, the clutch fluid had completely gone. So when you push the clutch down, right, the clutch wasn't actually disengaging from the engine, right, but it would let you run the starter, right. And so I just tried it. So I pushed the clutch in, started it. The starter pulled the car out of the ditch. And started the car with the clutch still engaged. Right. Because you were just laying on it. Yeah, I was just laying on it. Yeah. And so I waved goodbye to Amy, and I took off, and then I drove
and that's not a short drive.
No, I drove the whole car home, the car all the way home in first gear.
That's at least 15 miles.
Yeah. So that was good. It was like 45-mile-an-hour road sounding. I was just waving to people as they.
So was that a Sohan and Gene story?
Yeah. That was definitely a very good Sohan and Gene story. The boys were just at the edge of their seat.
Nice.
Told that one, the land of 100 highways. A request from my dad, because he caught on, right? Right. So he's like, oh, could you tell the story about how the Escort got all dented? You remember this? So they
yes. So recapping your car history, let's just go through that to bring everybody up to speed. I had a lot of cars. You did have a lot of cars. You had the F-150 first
car,
right? Then came the white Supra into the ditch. Yep. Then
Black Supra,
which was a turbo
7M GTE.
Yes. And then after that,
when we went to college, so there was a period of like no cars for like a year and a half.
And did you sell that before you went to college?
Yes. There's a decision there between sell it and have some money for college, or fix it and have no money to go to college. And okay.
Yeah, head gasket. Yeah, I think I helped cause that head gasket damage.
There were many head gaskets. Those are part of the Sohan and Gene stories.
Yes, a little wide open throttle there, and the head your head gasket's blown light is going on.
Yes.
So. There was that. So brake with no cars. Then the Ford Thunderbird, or was it the Escort?
The Escort, yeah. So Mom and Dad got the Escort for me. Somebody had hit a deer with that. Mm-hmm. So Dad fixed that up for me. So I got back and had that. And so that story was we were back on Christmas break. Yes. We'd come back, and we were just we weren't 21 yet. So we couldn't go have a drink. Yep. And we were just looking for something fun to have, in Wisconsin, and so we thought
middle of winter,
and there had been a lot of snow, and there ice and when you got a lot of snow and you plow it.
Yeah, just like drifts up
Drifts,
on the
yeah,
side.
a lot of drifts and stuff, thanks. And we're like, wow, we could take a big chunk of that and put it on my car, accelerate really slowly, and then try to hit things with it.
And then, hit the brakes and it'd fly
Yeah, it would hit the ground, just slide and smash into things. And so we, tried to hit all types of things with that. And probably not the best decision in the world, but we had a great time.
we had a really good time.
We had a really good time doing it. And we kind of learned, because we put one on the roof of the car, a big one.
Yes.
And it dented the whole thing in.
Yeah, we started with the hood and then accelerating super, super slow, and then stomping on the brakes, and then we put it on the roof.
So it dented the whole roof in. And at first we were like, oh no, it dented it in. And then we just kind of punched it, and it just popped back. We're like, this is great. So we hit a lot of things, and used a lot of snow and ice. And
a lot of snowbanks we hit.
And I remember, I think it was you. I think we were so excited about how well this was going that you were like we were just like in a parking lot. You would like run up and like do like a bounce off the car with your foot and do a spin move, and we were doing all sorts of stupid stuff.
I think that was like when parkour was
parkour
cool,
was a thing,
and we were making fun of it. And parkour. We just like kick the car and run off of it, like obviously my size 13 shoe right into the side of the fender, just denting the crap out of it.
So we had dented the hood, the roof of the car, the fenders, the doors. There were dents everywhere.
And keep in mind, this was a 89 Escort
Ford
GT.
Escort GT.
And just so this...
We bought it for $150. My dad bought it for $150.
Yeah, it's a $150 car. It's old. It's like,
have fun.
Whatever. Just have fun with it.
Hey, we were two young guys having fun, man.
That's right. So having fun with it. And then... what was it? The next week or the next day?
Yeah, so the next day, my dad or my mom, maybe both of them, they asked me, so what happened to the car? And I was like, I don't know. What does a 19-year-old say, right? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, 19, 20 years old. We don't know.
I don't know what happened. So then Dad asked me, hey, could you tell the Sohan and Jean story about the Escort? And so, it was it was pretty good.
And probably the worst part about that story was that your dad, like, spent hours popping dents out of that car.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, sorry.
I apologize.
Sorry. That's on me too. So, anyways, but whole ton of fun with that Escort.
Great time. I love driving the thing.
Excellent bachelor party idea. So,
this is a good one.
We had kind of similar story. We bought a Mazda Miata on Craigslist.
This is in Texas.
Junk car in Texas. Put in a roll cage into it, and later found out you should also put in a bash bar on the front so you don't crack the radiator. Otherwise, your fun will end in about 45 minutes after you crack the radiator. So, just get a farm field, get somebody who's willing to let you do stupid crap on their land, put on a fire suit, put on a helmet, and go to town, make a sweet jump, and just...
This is when you were in Automotive Society.
Yep.
You were surrounded by a bunch of car guys.
Yes.
It's like, how does a bunch
Well, this
of
was after that, because it was after we graduated, and we were coming back down for the wedding.
That's right.
And we came in...
But who did the car, though? Who did the roll cage?
Ross Schultz, Titan Machining in Texas, if you're interested. So he helped weld up the roll cage. I think Chuck Trowbridge went down and did that as well. But awesome idea for a bachelor party. If you, a bunch of guys, like 5-6 guys, kick in a couple $100, find some open land and just beat the crap out of this car.
Yeah, so let me remember. There was like a course there, and the driver, was it blindfolded or he couldn't see, right?
We blindfolded the driver, and then the passenger could see and had to tell the driver where to go.
Turn right, turn left.
It's just in the middle of nowhere. So but there happened to be a telephone pole.
One
telephone pole in the middle of nowhere, and man, did we just nail that thing. And then that's when we had 45 minutes to keep driving until the engine seized. So
I feel like if you would have talked to somebody from like a demolition derby,
right,
they probably would have been giving you a lot of great tips on how to keep that car
even though it might not be legal in the demolition
Well,
derby.
right, yeah, but he would know
Yes.
what to do to keep
Right.
it alive.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, old $500 Mazda Miata, go buy one and have a great bachelor party
Yeah.
if you have some welding skills and some extra steel tubing laying around.
What about like an old race car? You know, you find like
Yeah.
somebody else's old race car and they don't want to do anything with it anymore.
Very
you know,
true.
Something that already has a roll cage.
Yes.
Something you could just purchase and use.
Yep. We liked it because it was, once the doors were bashed in, it was easy to get in and out, just unbuckling it out. Then you only got the roll hoop behind you.
Oh,
so,
yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but that was a good time. But yeah, the Sohan and Gene story of yeah, that was real good.
Yeah, so that was fun. And it's funny because yeah, you just go through and recap life and you're like, oh man, I forgot about these stories and all these things that we've done together. Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Okay, let me get to some more questions though, because I don't know how far we are in, but I gotta get to some of my questions here.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we're back. We don't really know where that let off. One thing I've learned from YouTube is I need a new second camera for long format stuff like this. I don't think the Canon M50 can go longer than 30 minutes at a time. Otherwise, it's considered a camcorder and it gets taxed differently.
that's messed up.
Yeah, it is kind of messed up. So, anyways, if you know how to make the Canon M50 go longer than 30 minutes, throw that in the comments below. And yeah, so we were talking about, you had asked me a question around doing business with other cultures. Right?
Yeah. So let me just re-ask the question so that we can get it all down. So I found doing business with different cultures is such an interesting experience because people just treat business so differently. So one example is when I was doing business in China, you don't do any business until you have tea.
Right.
You know, maybe the owner of the company or maybe the head honcho, he's gonna wash his dishes in front of you.
Yep, and it's like this special tea set.
Yeah.
Well.
It's this whole like table setup.
Yeah.
He's gonna heat the water. He's gonna wash the dishes. He's gonna make the tea, and you know, tea takes a few minutes to make.
Right.
Maybe there's some light.
Yep. Put the water in. Heat the water up.
Yeah. Some light conversation, but you're not talking about business yet.
Nope.
And then you're gonna wait for that tea to be made. Then he's gonna serve everybody, and you're gonna sip it. You're gonna comment about how the tea is.
Yep.
And then you're gonna do business. So it could be 20 minutes. And you know, as Americans, that's weird because we want to get down to business.
Yep. Time is money. Let's get through this stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make every minute count. But here we're just sitting watching the owner of a company wash dishes. It's just completely backwards.
Right.
But you have to accept that it's part of their culture, and that's how they do business.
Right.
There's other things in business where maybe more things are at stake about like negotiating.
Yep.
And different cultures negotiate differently. I mean, in the U.S., you don't barter when you go into to go buy something.
Right.
But other cultures, that's normal. Especially.
Everything is available for bartering. It's not like you go into McDonald's and you're like, I see that's $5.50. I'll take it for $4.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you would never say that.
Yeah. And it's like, no, that's the price, and the guy behind the counter probably doesn't care.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So my buddy, he just was going to buy this couch, and it was listed for $700, and I believe it was two Indian guys. And so he gets there, and he's going to buy this couch, $700.
Yep.
And he didn't negotiate ahead of time at all. He just, just got there, and I'm
Said,
sure
hey, can I go see the couch? And,
yeah. And so he gets there, and the one guy says to the other, he says, "Oh, did you put it up for $700? You should put it up for $900." And long story short, he ended up paying $900 instead of $700.
In that situation, I wouldn't even have $900 to pay them.
Oh, right, yeah. The
Especially
whole,
if it's cash deal.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's just a difference in doing business with different cultures.
Right. And it might not have even been their culture. It might have just been a negotiation tactic.
Yeah.
So
And just so everybody knows, like, I fought my buddy here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure these guys, they're probably much better at negotiating.
Right.
At bartering because that's their culture and they're used to it.
Yeah.
Whereas he was kind of blindsided by it. Maybe he hasn't done much of it in his life.
Right.
Doesn't know when he sees it.
Right.
You know, they were trying to start him really high.
Right.
So that just in case he came in low, right? They probably have a price in mind.
And then they just met on 700.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But no, they really took him.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I want to know if you had any stories about doing businesses with different cultures.
So
maybe you could share.
Yeah, something that I've always found is that humor is always good. Everybody likes to laugh.
It's a universal.
Yes, everybody likes to laugh. And not like just you're cutting it up, you're having laugh after laugh after laugh. It's like just defuse the situation a little bit. And not necessarily offend somebody or something like that. But if it's a super serious situation, just humanize it a little bit.
Well, there's always that tension, right? In any business
Right.
deal, there's always a little bit of a tension, and if you can reduce that a little bit with laughter, I mean, that totally makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And I think the ability for people to do that, but do it well and not offend somebody or not make the situation.
You gotta be careful, right? With cultures.
Absolutely.
You gotta be careful.
And not just with cultures, but even with the seriousness of the situation. If it's a multi-million-dollar deal, and people think you're just kind of willy-nilly or
you want to get that impression.
Cavalier about the situation. It's just you need to be thoughtful about it, but at the same time humanize it. And at the end of the day, it's humans making a decision, making an emotional decision on whether they're going to do something or they're not going to do something. So I think whether it's I've done business in Brazil, in Mexico, in Canada, in China, with Germany, with Belgium, all over the world, and everybody loves to laugh.
Yeah. Even
if it's just a little bit, and it just brings the conversation back down to human a little bit, and I think that would be my tip.
Okay. So that's a little bit of a tip then, huh?
Yes, that would be a tip for people doing business internationally is find the humor. And
have you ever got, how about this? Okay, so that's a good universal truth.
Yep.
Sounds real good. Have you ever had a real bad, like a mismatch of culture and business dealings? Maybe in Brazil, I mean, because you were doing the aerospace stuff at the time, right?
Yes, yep. Working a lot with Embraer. And I can't say that it was a bad experience or situation. It was just a bad situation overall where we were late on some product, and there was no real.
But that's when the stress response comes out, right?
Right.
Because when you're in a business deal and everybody's stressed, and that's like when your true colors come out.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was. I don't think it was a bad situation or backfire or anything like that. It was just we weren't meeting expectations, and we were talking through, and it was just being humble. And I think being humble is also a very, very good characteristic as well. And because if you're very humble all the time, I think that when you need to be strong and stern, it's even more effective. Because
you see the difference there.
Yes, there's a much greater difference than if you're semi strong and solid footed all the time. Where if you're humble about it and you bring yourself down to earth a little bit more and bring them down to earth a little bit more, because at the end of the day, you're all people. You're either going back to your family or you're going back to your world or your life outside of work, and that's what matters. That's why you're doing it. And again, one of the reasons why I love this YouTube thing is I get to do my passion for a somewhat of a job. A little bit. So.
Well, it sounds like you're probably just better at doing business with different cultures than I am. So
I don't know.
I maybe I have more to learn. All right, so that was one good question here.
Yep.
I'm gonna see what other questions I got here.
And the card was full.
Yeah.
So learning that I need a new camera and I need a larger memory card. So we are working off of that. So you had asked me a question.
Yeah. So let's pick that up. So I was just asking, what are you reading?
What am I reading?
Because you're reading and you're always, what I appreciate about you is you're always trying to get a little bit better, always trying to develop some aspect of yourself. So I'm just curious what you're up to right now.
Different perspective is the way I like to look at it. Because
you still owe me a book, by the way.
I do.
Peter Thiel? Is that a book you read?
Yes.
You still owe me that book.
One.
Because you were telling me when
0 to 1.
Yep.
0 to 1. That's a Peter Thiel book. Again, I like reading, and I think one thing that you told me was when you were on an airplane with somebody and they were reading a book, and you had asked them, "What do you think about the book? What are you thinking about it?" Because I think it was a book you had read before, and or maybe not, but even so, you were still making conversation with them, and you had said, "How are you going to apply that to your life?
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently? Are there things you agree with? Are there things you disagree with?" Because I think the good thing about reading, call it nonfiction books, and they don't have to be self-help. They just have to be different perspectives. They could even be factual, history books or something like that. Is what are you taking away from that
of
book?
course.
And what are you gonna apply to your life that you're getting out of that book? And if you read a bunch of books, it's how are you going to meld them together?
Totally.
Yeah.
The whole point of the question is, if you're not going to apply anything, you read all this stuff, you're not going to apply anything. It's essentially fiction then.
Right.
Because you're just reading it just for the fun of it.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, even if you get one or two great things that you're gonna change in your life with it.
Yep.
Okay, it makes sense then.
Yep.
So that was the whole point to the question. I remember the book. I remember the question. I remember thinking that.
Yeah, I think. So what am I reading now? It's a product management book. It's called Crossing the Chasm.
Crossing the Chasm.
It's a 3rd edition, so they've updated it a few times to try to be more modern. I believe the first edition came out in the 80s or something like that, and they get into that in the prologue. But it's all about the product life cycle and about, you have your innovators, you have your early adopters, you have
there's that curve, right?
Yep, the bell curve. You have your innovators, early adopters, your early majority, your late majority, and your laggards. And so there's a gap between every one of those groups of people. You have to make a jump.
Yeah, and I've seen that curve before. I've never seen the gap.
Yes. And
is that commonly accepted, or does the book make this case that there's the gap?
The book, so I think it's commonly accepted that there's a gap between each area. The book makes the case around the chasm and the specific larger gap that's in there. And so between your innovators, your early adopters, and your early majority, the chasm is between the early adopters and the early majority, because the early majority will only do things if there's proof.
Yep.
And so you have to hook up your early adopters with your early majority, and there has to be enough proof for them to make the jump.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also you need to do it quickly, and you can't keep falling back into just the early adopters because of the market. There's not enough early adopters to sustain.
Yeah. It's not a business yet.
You have to make the jump. You have to cross the chasm.
Yeah.
And that's what the book is all about.
So is it a lot of psychology in there?
A little bit. It's less psychology and more just understanding the market. It's market segmentation. It's diving deep into. Don't try to market to everybody. That's not a marketing strategy. That's just spilling words out.
Yeah.
Don't understand your key market, and not just your market, but then segment that market and have a targeted effect on it.
Okay, so let's ask Sean the airplane question then.
Yes.
So what are you going to change? What's the takeaway? What are you going to use from the book? What's impacted you? Whether it's daily life or at work or on the YouTube channel?
So specific to the YouTube channel, I think it's less of a change and more of a tweak.
That works.
It's not something major, but it's people who want to see awesome garages. Mm-hmm. And that is my goal, is to have, because of this channel, have more awesome garages that fit their needs.
Yeah.
And not like we were talking about what your garage would be,
mm-hmm.
or something like that if money was no object, but be able to provide everybody with a roadmap, with a toolbox of how to get their awesome garage. And hopefully people will feel confident by watching this channel and other videos that I do that they could self-general contract. If money was no object, you probably might not want to self-general contract, but if you want to be involved in that, that's really what I hope people would do. And because of this book, I think my tweak is going to be more, I need to get more proof out there. I need to do more interactive things to get those people that I get direct messages from, which is awesome. Thank you guys. Keep that up. That helps me out a lot in just kind of validating what I'm doing here. So keep those direct messages up, which is really from the early adopters and the innovators to give me feedback. But to get to that early majority is I got to have proof. I got to do it.
Yeah.
I got to build my garage, and I got to go see other garages as well to give people ideas rather than just posting on Instagram. So.
And I see, since I've been following your channel, that I see other YouTube channels that do similar things, and they get lots of views.
Yeah.
75,000, 150,000.
Yep.
300,000 views, and it's like, okay, there's definitely an audience out there.
Yeah.
Who wants this type of content, right?
Yep.
And so yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So have you had much interest? I know you always got that blurb when you start your videos. If you're in this part of Wisconsin, let me know. So
yes.
Are people reaching out? Are they?
Yes, there are a bunch of people reaching out. It's the challenges. Again, this is a side business.
Yeah, side hustle.
And a side hustle. And so, which means I'm kind of limited to weekends. And also for that person as well, they have a full-time job most likely.
They have a life.
So it's not like I can say, hey, take Tuesday off, let's go and do this.
Right.
And the other piece of that is my confidence and my ability to film it in a way that that lives up to their standards.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so...
yeah, you don't want your garage to be like...
Right, and obviously the first one I do is going to be worse than the 10th one I do.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that's anybody that's anything out there. So, but I really want to do justice to these people who have put thousands of dollars into the garage and do them justice. But at the same time, I also think this community of garage people is all about just having
garage people.
Yeah, garage people having beers, hanging out.
Cheers, garage people.
Garage beers.
This is for you.
Yeah, so I think people are just excited to talk about their garage,
Yeah.
to hang out in their garage, talk about their projects, and just kind of, talk with other people, which I think is why Cars and Coffee has been so good. But at the same time, it's kind of like a Cars and Coffee at somebody's garage that they've gone through. So speaking of garages, speaking of projects, what is going to be your next project car? We are back!
Hey!
A little drunker than before,
all right.
but we're getting a little tipsy. So I don't even know where we were. We were talking project cars.
Yes.
We were talking what your next project car is, because you have the Toyota Sienna as kind of the family
Highlander.
The Highlander as the family ride. You have the Subaru WRX as your daily driver and fun car. But are you going to take the WRX to kind of that next level where it's not really a daily anymore and get a new daily driver, or are you going to get a project car and keep the WRX as your daily driver?
Well, so first, when I bought the WRX, I said it was going to be a 10-year car. Mm-hmm. So we bought it outright. We saved up for years. We bought it with cash. Yep. That's why I sold the Supra. I sold my Camry at the time.
Yep.
Sold everything. I said, this is my 10-year car.
Yep.
It's a 2015, so I'm going to have it for another five and a half years or so. So I don't think that'll ever become not a daily driver.
Okay.
I might upgrade it more.
Okay.
That's a potential avenue.
Yep.
But I think I would always keep it in mind that it's a daily driver.
Yes.
Maybe after the 10 years.
So no drag slicks.
Yeah. But maybe after 10 years, I could see doing like an off-road rally car with it.
Ooh.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Lifted WRX.
That's a little bit of a dream to like. So we've done the River Valley Road Rally.
Yes.
I'd love to do an off-road road rally with you.
That would be a
lot
of fun.
I've never done one before.
Yes.
I've only seen them on TV. They look crazy and awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, okay, but that's down the road, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, one avenue would just be to upgrade the Subaru where we're at, and I feel like I'm stage 2.
Yep.
300 horsepower to the wheels, 300 torque to the wheels. If I go too much further, it's turbo, it's clutch, it's who knows what else is gonna break.
Do you have a stock downpipe? Or
no, I have the pretty much everything's Grimspeed.
Okay,
Grimspeed
so
downpipe,
full turbo back exhaust, full everything.
No, the mufflers are the stock. It's a 3-inch.
3-inch into 2.5.
That's right.
Yep.
So it sounds a little bit louder, better performance, but not super loud.
Yep.
So very good for daily driving.
Yep.
And so anyways, I could upgrade it more, but it's like this slope or something that you get off of once you get to a certain point. Also, you got to upgrade a bunch of stuff, clutch and things.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm gonna go take that next step.
Okay.
Do I have to do the whole bottom end of the engine?
Right.
Maybe. you go from doing like $1,000 or $2,000 upgrades all of a sudden to like, okay, it's like 2,000,
Yeah,
5,000,
there's
10,000.
a ledge where you hit, and it's like, okay, to get that next 50 horsepower even is multiple thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So.
But then if you compare that to like a brand new project car,
right?
Well, geez, a new project car is going to be
right
$10,000 plus, right? I mean,
right.
I could do another budget. I could do another budget car, but I don't really want to do another one like that. I did the Supra.
Yep.
And I already told you that I don't think I want that same Superback because I did it on a college budget.
Right.
So, if I'm going to do a project, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to want to put in like high quality parts and spend the time. So, it would
not
be
an eBay turbo.
Not an eBay turbo. Yeah, I would spend more than $150 on a turbo. Ball bearings and get something nice. But
yeah.
So, anyways. And I'm also in this place with the house where I don't have another spot for a car.
Right.
I'm so jealous that you get to do a garage project. You got the space for it here. I got a little.
Sure, hope so. After this land sale goes through.
Gosh, dude, they are
ridiculous.
They are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Talon, dude.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get through that because I know who you are, and you're gonna get that garage built. I just physically don't have the spot for it.
Yeah.
In my current lot, so. So anyways, I would say 3 to 5 years down the road, maybe,
okay.
I'd be looking at another project car.
Yep.
But this gets to a question I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Was that, do electric car performance diminish the gasoline cars' appeal? And, because to me it does a little bit. So, I'm driving down, I'm in my, 300 horsepower Subaru, yep. and I look over at a Tesla, and he's going to mop the floor with me. Yep. And I kind of feel like, essentially, no matter how much money and time and effort I put into my Subaru, the Tesla's always going to kick my butt.
So I think this is really interesting, and that's the Porsche Taycan is coming out, or I actually think it's called Taycan is how Porsche wants you to pronounce it.
Really?
So yes. From what I've heard is, in a straight line, yes, Tesla will mop the floor with just about anything to the quarter mile.
Like what, ludicrous mode or something?
Yes, yes. So, I mean, the P100D is crazy. But from a handling perspective, going through the twisties, going through the corners.
Well, it's a heavy car.
It's a very heavy car. It's built, it's a luxury vehicle. It's built to, destroy anything in a straight line, but at the same time it's built to cruise down the highway. Right. It's about efficiency, it's about low coefficient of drag, getting the most mileage out of the vehicle. And so I think the Porsche is going to be really interesting because Porsches have that handling DNA. And they need to have that. And so, yes, will it have the acceleration? Yes, will it have really... I just watched a video where they did multiple accelerations, 0 to...
Yeah, I saw a headline about that.
Yeah, 0 to like 125 over and over and over again with like a 0.8 second diminishment over the life.
It was like a gasoline engine.
Yes.
You get heat soak and then it would kind of...
Yes. So, and with the Tesla as well, when you go to ludicrous mode, you might have adverse effects on the battery and adverse effects on on the motors and all that. So, and you have to accept that.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Porsche, you don't, from what I've seen. And so, but the handling aspect is really what intrigues me about this, because if it's a Porsche, it has to handle well. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it's not as good as some of the gasoline cars, but at the same time, like, it's going to go around a corner well. Yeah. And it's going to have the steering feedback that you want, and it's going to do those things. And so I think this next generation, call it, of electric vehicles might diminish the gas vehicle a little bit. I mean, we do the yearly trip down to the Chicago Auto Show, and we go drive those electric go-karts. So it's interesting. You can definitely feel when the battery's not charged, and when it's and obviously they can turn you down or turn you up with the remote control. But I think they
should never turn me down.
The overall experience with it is, I think it will eventually get to the point where they can improve the energy density, which has a lower center of gravity if they can put it in the car. which is one of the
better physics.
Yes,
it just is what it is, right?
Yeah, and I think the more interesting thing is tire technology and reaching the limit of that. And
yes.
So the Tesla Roadster coming out, and they're going to have a SpaceX version where it's rumored to have nitrogen thrusters on it and stuff like that to either give it more downforce initially off the line to fire some vertical nitrogen thrusters to get it off the line better. So you have that friction, but it's just I don't know. It's interesting.
Thank you, Elon, for pushing the envelope. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Elon Musk. I'm interested to see. Obviously, I got the picture of the Rivian up here.
Yeah.
I'm
we only got 3 to go, so
very interested.
you're still working on?
Still working on that one.
Yeah.
So, very interested to see what that's going to do. I think range is the biggest thing. Like we were talking about with time is money in the U.S. And yes, okay, great. I'm going to wait 5 minutes and get 80 or 90 miles of charge with this high voltage system, like pumping electrons into my battery, and potentially if I do that every single day, I'm going to degrade the battery right now with the current battery technology. So, if I can go fill up my gasoline car, which gasoline is a very energy dense product.
Oh, that's a GoPro.
Oh, GoPro just shut off.
Yeah, GoPro's making noise, but we still got the red dot on the camera. We're fine.
We're going through here, so.
No, and yeah, so there's the whole kind of market in general, but when I think about like what my next project car would be, and it's weird because it's like, if I think of a project car, I'm gonna go kick everybody's butt on the street, right?
Right.
But I don't want to build a project car, but then know that like all these other electric cars are gonna like mop the floor with me, no problem.
And that's why Rich, I don't know if you've heard of this YouTuber, Rich Rebuilds.
Yeah.
So he's...
No, I never heard of him.
He's rebuilding salvage Teslas, and also Tesla swapping things. So it's like you have your... he's not doing an M3, but there's an M3 with a Tesla swap in it, like a older 97-ish M3 with a Tesla swap in it. That's interesting to me. Like that's new hot rodding. That's and that would be very intriguing for a future project car, would be to Tesla swap something, or and obviously Tesla swapping would be the easiest, least expensive thing, because there are hundreds of thousands of Teslas on the road
there's a lot out there.
and there's hundreds of crashed Teslas on the road. So the going to a junkyard, finding the drivetrain and pulling it out and figuring out how to put it in a current gasoline vehicle would be very interesting to me. Yeah,
definitely neat.
So
I will say I've always loved rat rods.
Yes,
they are stinking cool.
Yep.
I'm sure they're horrible for the environment, but man, they just look neat. I love them. The super low, the guy's in there, he's driving it like this.
It's not comfortable.
No, it's not comfortable. There's no air conditioning. Probably no heat. There's probably nothing, right? They've got the stack of the exhaust kind of coming up.
Yeah,
you probably can't see. Who knows if you can see?
Right. It just looks cool. It looks cool.
It looks neat. So maybe that's the type of car though where it's like you're not trying to be the fastest anymore.
No.
So and maybe that's where I need to get to mentally, where it's like, okay, I'm not building a car to try to be the fastest on the street.
Right.
I'm trying to build a car just for my own sake, because I enjoy driving it. I enjoy the way I look in it. I enjoy the way it feels when I drive it around.
And that's an interesting point you bring up about on the street. So, some of these cars now are just,
they're so fast.
Yeah, you can buy a Hellcat for... Probably a used Hellcat for $65,000 right now.
They're so fast now.
707 horsepower. It's ridiculous. And where are you going to use that on the street?
Oh, you're right. It's absurd of me to think I should be the fastest on the street, right? Because that's ridiculously unsafe. Sorry. Yeah, I probably should have prefaced that,
at the same time, I don't know a single person that doesn't break the speed limit on a daily basis.
Right, but if you're going to use that much horsepower, whether it's 500, 700, or 1,000, if you're going to actually use that on the street, you're probably being dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
Agreed. And you can get 0 to 80 the highway speed on an on-ramp very quickly with that speed. But I think, I mean, some of these like McLarens and stuff like that is just, I've never driven one, but I've heard the common word is spaceship fast, spaceship acceleration from all the reviews I've watched, and just the ability to do that on the road and go very quickly is getting crazy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean...
So what are you trying to do with your project car then? I think it's really the question it comes down to.
And I think the thing, you asked me about electric cars diminishing the gasoline vehicle.
Yeah.
All about the emotion. All about the emotion you get when you drive it is what do you want to feel when you drive that car? And so I talked about the Rivian. I talked about having like an old Power Wagon where it is mechanical everything. Yeah. Like you have a one-wire engine. Like you are turning the starter over and then it is all mechanical diesel injection and just timing and mechanical lockers.
I was thinking about that because I saw your video on that one and I was like, man, let's just get rid of that one wire. There's got to be something we can wind up or a lever we can pull. There's got to be some way to start that thing without the wire, just for the sake of not having a single wire, right?
Yeah, and like I was thinking,
other than sparklers, right? Oh, is it diesel?
You can swap a diesel into it.
Just put the diesel in there. Let's get rid of all the wires.
The diesel,
you should have a no wire.
The diesel is the one wire engine, so you still have to turn the starter over. But
we just got to find a way to turn that thing over.
I was thinking about like the early the early hybrid systems in racing was all about kinetic energy recovery, and you would literally engage another clutch to start spinning a flywheel that. Okay, you have this thing spinning now, and now when I'm coming out of the corner, I re-engage that clutch, and that clutch is sending more power because of the spinning weight. Yeah. And so, just super interesting of where this is going to go. I'm real excited for it. I think we live... A few posts I put up, in comments that I've made on Instagram is what a time we live in where you can get a mid-engine Corvette with over 500 horsepower for under $60,000 or under $70,000 or something.
You can't look at that option and be like, we are at the pinnacle of what we're doing with gasoline engines and affordability. I mean, you talked about product curves earlier.
Yes,
and it's like we're on the back end of this curve for automobiles, gasoline automobiles, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, how well we've not you and I, but
the industry in general.
The industry has developed the engine, the car, the manufacturing. Right. I mean, to be able to, for Chevy to be able to present a mid-engine Corvette with those performance specs.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's pretty incredible.
And they've already sold out all the pre-orders?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, good on them.
Yep. It'll be very interesting. And that's one thing, talking about the product aspect of it, they had that design note, like design input. It has to be attainable.
Yeah.
It has to be attainable for, and it's not attainable for everybody, but it's attainable for a middle class person in the United States that could, even if they finance it, it's still attainable, and they can do it. So.
Well, I see some of these like supercar videos, and these guys will buy it for $1 million or $8 million, whatever they buy it for, and then they make this nice video. They drive it off the trailer, then they drive it over to their storage facility, and they park it, and we'll resell it later. It's like
back to your metric of how many thousands of miles have you driven and enjoyed your vehicle.
That guy didn't. Yeah, that guy really didn't enjoy that car.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna show it off to his buddies and point to it. He's not gonna drive it.
Right.
Whereas like. That Corvette, if you make it affordable, you make it so people can get out and drive it. It's like that's what you want out of your car, right?
Yeah.
You don't want.
You want that emotional experience with it, and that's
the key.
And that's why people. I feel like people collect cars.
Yeah.
Because this car has a different emotion when you're driving it than this car, and a different smell, and a different interior feel, and a different ambiance that. This one is going to be very different than this one, or it might be similar. like the 911 Heritage, if you drive a 996 turbo versus a 991 turbo, they should feel somewhat similar.
Should they?
Yeah, I think they should.
I don't know.
I think they should. I think they should, keep that, at least the interior feel.
Mm-hmm.
They should keep that tradition and lineage and history alive, where you should know, okay, I'm sitting in a 911. But obviously there's a big difference in speed and performance because of the evolution of technology. And I think they've gotten much larger vehicles.
Yes.
Because you have to have all the impact and crumple zones and all that. Yeah. And obviously you need bigger wheels for more traction to handle the horsepower and all that. But yeah.
And the big wheels look cool.
Yes, they do. Yeah. The giant, wide meats.
Everybody loves them.
Yeah.
Everybody loves them.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a few of you that don't love them, and you will let us know in the comments below.
Big wheels? Do you think you have viewers who don't like big wheels?
Yes, I do. Yes.
They like the little pizza cutters? Maybe they're good in the snow.
I would say just maybe not extra wide wheels.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
What, maybe 9 inches you get too big, too wide?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
What's your limit?
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get to the last questions here. We'll be going for a few minutes here.
What else you got on there?
Well, I just want to know, since we're talking about project cars, do you think you're going to jump into a full build, or do you think you do like a resto or like an engine swap first? Right? Because if I'm thinking, okay, I know who you are.
Yep.
I know your money's not unlimited.
Yep.
And so to do a full build from scratch is more expensive than to just do like an engine swap. Mm-hmm. You need less tooling. You need less parts.
Yep.
So what are you thinking?
So I think my first car will probably be like an engine swap.
Yeah.
I think that's probably...
I don't see an engine swap up here on your vision board.
Ooh, the vision board. Yeah. I definitely...
Well, maybe you could do one in the Mini.
I could do one in the minivan, but that would probably be frowned upon. I think... Obviously, I want to get to the Ultima, the Evolution, build my whole car from a kit.
I want to help you, by the way.
I want you to help me. I'll need help. So... I really want to do that, but at the same time, I think I need to start financially smaller and do some sort of engine swap or something like that. And, maybe I can carry that engine into the Ultima someday. So if I do something LS-based or something like that, I can build that engine, build it up, keep it in that car, and then take that engine out, keep basically all the other LS swap items on it, and just drop another LS into that, but take the built motor and put it on an engine stand and wait for the Ultima or something. Yeah,
get one motor, do it right, and kind of move from project to project.
Yep.
You could also do, Kyle, what he does with guns.
Yes.
So, he's got a gun, he buys it, maybe he fixes it or does something, and then he sells it for a profit, and he takes the next leg up. I mean, have you thought about maybe doing a project, one that you would like to do, but that also maybe you could sell for a profit, and it would get you as a stepping stone to your next project?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about it. I think
it's hard to do.
I agree, and there's a lot of work that goes into, you never get back the hours that you put into it, or the investment that you put into upgrades or something like that. So. I don't know.
It's an easier sell with the wife, though, right?
Yeah.
Because if you say, okay, I took whatever, let's just say $10,000,
right?
And I put all this took $10,000, I put all this time and effort, I sold it for $20,000,
right?
And then if you sell that, then it's easier to buy a new $20,000 project car.
Agreed.
Whereas, if you're just trying to buy a $20,000 project car, maybe that's a little bit harder sell to the wife.
Right. Yeah, because
you got to think about that aspect of it too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Not only do you have the garage to support it and the time, but also you got to make it work for your family as well.
Yes, the financial for the family as well. So that's a very key piece of that as well, and with the garage build as well.
Yeah.
So
don't
gotta have something that you can compromise on to get what you need, but still not go overboard for the family
Yeah.
as well, and something like that. What else you got on there?
Oh, yeah, we got to run through the questions. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, and I don't know why I thought about this one, but, like, this is just, like, a little thing. Because I feel like when you have a garage, you have all sorts of different projects going on. Of course, you'll have your main project, your car, whatever, but you also have all sorts of, like, little things. And so I just thought if you had any, like, little projects in your life that you haven't done or been putting off, for me, the one was my wife's visor. It doesn't, like, fully retract, like, go up, like, where it should.
It stays there.
It, like, hangs down a little bit. So it's just, like, you get in the car, you, like, hit your head on it, or you, like, swing it out of the way, and it's just super annoying, and it's like, we just gotta buy the part. I gotta put it, it's like 2 screws.
Yep,
put it on.
We've talked about this. So the order of projects is the garage.
Yep.
And then I think we are going to redo our master bathroom because we have a very small shower in there right now. So
Not a big footprint to the whole bathroom though.
but yeah, big footprint to the whole bathroom, but a like phone booth shower where like you're soaping and it's silly. So we're gonna put a normal size shower, even like a shower tub in there. Just that would be triple the size of what we have today.
2 shower heads?
I don't even know. That's TBD.
All right.
But then we're gonna do that. We're also gonna side the garage differently than the house. We're gonna upgrade.
To start?
Yes. So I think we're gonna do hardy board siding on it.
A lot of good reviews on that, I think.
And we have vinyl siding on the house right now, so we'll hardy board the garage, and then we'll do the master bathroom, and then we'll re-side the house.
Oh yeah. So it'll match the garage.
It'll match the garage when we're done. So we're gonna do that.
So no little projects though.
Well, there's a bunch of little projects.
There's one little.
We have the same visor issue. We have the same visor issue, but at the same time, it's like I've researched and looked, and the pieces and parts for that I can't find at a junkyard or anything like that for the wife's car. And by the end of the year, we're gonna get a new car for her anyway. Okay. So that's kind of like, it's a little project, but we can deal with it.
Okay, yeah.
We just flip the visor around backwards and shove it in that little area so it stays up there.
Good problem solving.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, let me see what other questions I got.
Yeah.
We did that one. I want to talk about things we had done in the garage. I feel like that's a super open-ended question.
Things we had done on the garage?
Done in the garage. You and I.
Oh, okay.
Just like in our history, I feel like we've done so much stuff.
Yep.
And especially if we include Dad's Quick Lube.
Oh, man.
And all the stuff we've done in there.
We might have to make an episode 2.
Yeah. Maybe we leave that as a cliffhanger.
Yep. I'd love to have you back on the podcast.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. We're almost out of beer anyway. So.
We're almost out of beer. Jeez. You know what? When I originally thought about doing this, I was thinking to myself, this is either going to be super short, because we're best friends. Yep. We talk about everything all the time.
Yep.
There's never a point where, like, if something's on my mind, I'll just text it to you or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, what would I have to talk to Sean about? But then, or it's going to be super long, we're going to get talking. Obviously, we did.
Yes.
And we just talk, yes. Right?
Yeah.
So.
But we'll have to bring that back for an episode.
So that'd be another one. I guess another one we could do is road rally strategy.
Ooh, yes.
So we've done the road rally for 3 years in a row.
Yep.
We have a great time doing it every time.
Yep.
You've driven twice.
Once.
And I've navigated twice, and then we flipped.
Yep.
So you navigated, I drove.
Yep. We finished second. Second was the first year, right? Yep. Finished second the first year, 5th the second year, and 4th this year.
Yeah, we're in a pretty tight little cluster up there at the top.
Always top 5. Yeah.
I feel like every year we don't score higher than we think we should, and we kind of say, "Oh yeah, it must be them. They must not be timing us right or something."
Yeah.
But I feel like those rules must have applied to everybody, right?
Absolutely.
There's inaccuracies on the timekeepers everywhere, and I feel like we should just take another step and see what we can do better.
Yeah, I also think we are so much of a analyze the variables kind of two people that you have to eliminate the variables, change one thing, see what happens, change one thing, see what happens. So we can talk about that.
Yeah, we got to work through that still. Yeah. I just want to know if I got anything else we got to work through. We talked a little bit about the YouTube channel stuff.
Yes.
Starting one, and maybe by the next time I will have started a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And then maybe we could talk about how that's looking.
Yep.
I think that's all I got. Did you have any questions we didn't hit?
Let's see. Ooh. If you could go back to high school, to where we met.
Shop class,
small engines class, and change your cars. If you had to do your high school car history a different way, would you do it a different way, or would you keep it the same?
So when we met, I remember this because we were in
F-150.
We had the small engines class, but there was also another shop class where I built a little amplifier.
Yes.
For my stereo. It was like this little circuit board thing, and I soldered it in, and
Yep.
and it didn't sound good.
No, it sounded horrible, but it was loud.
It was super loud.
It did its job.
But yeah, so yeah, maybe there were a few things I would tweak. I loved the Supras I had.
Yes.
I probably could have done like a domestic. I probably could have done either a Camaro or a Mustang.
Okay.
For cheaper and probably had a little bit more performance.
Yep.
But I loved how unique the Supras were.
Agreed.
And so I think if the other thing I was going to change, I would have delayed the gratification on the first Supra because I bought a non-turbo.
Yep.
And
you were real excited about that, I remember.
I loved it, but
yeah.
But then I quickly learned like you can only go so fast in a non-turbo.
Right.
And you need either go turbo or do like a full engine swap. I was meant to do that, right?
Yep.
So I think I would have waited to do a full turbo sooner.
Okay.
But really, I wouldn't have changed much.
Okay.
I had a great time with the cars I had. What about you? You had a 240. You wanted to put a...
I wanted to do SR20.
SR20, yeah, that's what you wanted.
That was the big deal back then. And it was a 240 automatic.
Yeah,
so,
that was automatic.
Oh, man. It was rough. But, yeah, I agree with you. I think I would have... but I only had two cars because I bought that and then I bought the Acura Vigor from your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun car.
It was a fun car. That was a great car.
It had 11 speakers in it.
Yes. And it was a
1994?
little more luxury, 5-cylinder.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, yeah, it is very clear I need a new camera to do the podcast.
This is what is this? The M1...
Canon M50 is
so
what
if you're two best friends out there looking for a camera, you might not want to do this camera because it shuts off every 30 minutes. Well, best friends got a lot to talk about.
Good for YouTube videos, bad for long format podcasts.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Well, it's only 2 6-packs worth of beer.
Right. And I mean, God, we could do 2 more.
Maybe we're just slow drinkers. Maybe we should have been done in the 30 minutes.
Something. So, anyways.
Hey, cheers to the last 2 beers.
Cheers to the last 2 beers. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this one off.
Cut it off.
We will come back. We'll have John back on the podcast.
Do we have more to talk about?
We do have more to talk about.
I think we have more to talk about.
We have about 4 or 5 questions that we didn't get to on yours. So, yeah.
I want to know about you, Sean.
Well,
I want to know more about you.
We know plenty about each other, but we'll discuss it on the podcast. So, anyways, thank you again for tuning in to Detached Garage. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Got John over here, my best friend. If you have comments, please put them down below. Hopefully it was a fun episode for you guys. We will get part 2, or maybe not even a part 2, just another Garage Beers podcast up on the channel soon. So again, September 5th, we got the giveaway starting. When we can get to 500 YouTube subscribers, we will give that stuff away.
Am I eligible for that?
You are eligible.
Nice!
If I randomly pick you, I will probably pick somebody else. Yeah, get in on that, and that will be coming out September 5th. This episode will premiere in 3 days from now, if I can get it edited. But hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like, subscribe, and thanks again for watching Detached Garage.